Hello, world. Can everyone hear me out there? Good morning to you. So, I'm here to share a little information that I was kind of sleep on, kind of slept on it a little bit. So, I want to kind of reveal a little information to anyone that may be watching. So, I came across some information concerning my family, concerning simple way to connect yourself with your inheritance. So, I was blessed enough to pull back through a lot of family archive information that I had. And so here lately, I came across this. As you can see, is in its original letter. Take that plastic off, maybe you can see it a little better. This the letter. You can see it's old school. 3 pages. The great thing about it, it's been transcribed. So it's dated Office of Bureau, RF and AL, Monticello, Arkansas, July the 31st, 1865. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase this letter. Well, fuck it, I'm going to read it. But it's basically showing where my father's grandmother, who was born in 1840, 1840 people. So my father grandmother was born in 1840. Let me share with you the census. This is a copy I made, so I can't be handling the original copy. So this is a copy. So as you can see, I highlighted my grandmother's, well, my father, grandmother. This census is dated 1870. This is my father's grandmother. No need to get the name and all that. But in 1870, right here, she was 30 years old. So you go 30 years back from 1870. So what year would that be? 1840. So my father grandmother grew up through slavery. She was born in 1840. Slavery was so-called abolished. We know how that is. 1863, or if you want to include Juneteenth, Texas, 1865. So 1870, my father grandmother was 30 years old. So she had my father mother. Here she is. As you can see, this census is dated 1910. That's my father's mother. So now let's get to my dad. This census here is 1930. Here's my father right here. So what I'm showing you all, sharing with you all, is a very, very simple step that any of us can take in inquiring information concerning our heritage. So let me just read this letter. Let me read this letter for you all. Now, this letter here is talking about specifically my family that has been stolen from Tiller, Arkansas, and brought to Monticello, Arkansas. So let me read this letter that's dated July 31st, 1865. So make sure I get some volume on here. Okay. Okay. So let me read this letter here for those that's interested. Now, if you're not serious about what I'm talking about and all that, you know, you can be on your way. This is for those that wants to know and understand facts and may wants to know how they can do the same thing by what I'm fixing to share. So this is just a cherry on top. So let me read this here letter. Like I said, it's dated July 31st, 1865. Office Bureau RF and L, Monticello, Arkansas. So Lieutenant EB AAA General Bureau RF and AL, Department of Arkansas. Sir, you can start reading. Sir, in compliance with our circular dated, generated Subject Bureau RF and AL, Department of Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, July 31st, 1865. Here it is. I have the honor to make the following report for the month of July 1865. My financial report is very small, having only received $5, a fine imposed on one Jones for mistreating a colored woman, and having expended $4.50 for renting. I guess they're trying to say for renting. I'm not sure what they're trying to imply with ferreting, FERINTING. The people generally appear willing to submit to the rules and regulations of the Bureau of Freedmen. And our office is open from morning till night, with citizens asking what is required of them to do with their niggers, freedmen. However, there are but few contracts of them to do with their niggers, freedmen. However, there are but few contracts recorded yet, and the condition of the country is such that but few farmers can do more than board and clothe the colored folks this year, and some cannot do that. Provisions being very scarce, and the late occupation of the country by rebel troops. The scarcity of teams and foreign has necessarily caused light crops where there is only enough made in a plantation to support those who live in it. I require these to keep the colored people this year. And when there is more, I require them to pay the freedmen in proportion to the amount of work done. I have managed thus far to get a house for most of those who were houseless and without employment, so that I have not issued but 50 rations. I have not been able to draw any rations yet, borrowed of the commander of the troops. Hear what I have issued. I have taken possession of the JNO-R Montgomery Farm, about 1371,371 acres in cultivation, 1 mile west of Monticello on the Manrose Road for a house farm. Montgomery abandoned his plantation during the war, took his Negroes, and went to Texas. This is a very intelligent place. Have 3 white schools now in operation, and there are enough colored children there here to require at least 2 teachers, and I think 3. I have already selected one abandoned house known as the Hightower House in the south part of town. It is large for 2 teachers to occupy and will have no difficulties in securing others if required. This man Hightower took his Negroes and fled southward since the breaking out of the war. In this county, Drew, there has not been very many complaints of ill treatment and have had but little difficulties in adjusting all that have come up. But in parts of Ashley, Bradley, Chico County, there have been numerous complaints of being starved, whipped, and not clothed. Too, and many of these do not admit that the colored people are free, and others tell them they are free and to leave, but have an understanding with their neighbors to abuse and drive them back if they attempted to leave. And still another chap have kept them till the cotton and corn was all worked, and then drive the black people all off without food or clothes. All these abuse I am correcting as fast as the limited numbers of troops have only about 50 cavalry. Commander E. 13 Triple Cavalry. Here and the vast extent of our district will admit I will start out in a few days and canvass the more distant proportion of the district, informing the people of the policy of the government and the rules and regulations of the Bureau. At the same time, looking out the abandoned plantations and properties. This is a new Bureau to us, and we shall hope to receive suggestions and instructions from you from the time to time that will enable us to work understandingly, and at the same time, we implore the great General G. War of all goods to give us wisdom, patience, and endurance, that we may gentle and rightly guide the enemy and do justice to a downtrodden people. So, I just read this letter basically talking and stating how they have invaded my family property, kidnapped them, and God knows what else with other family members. So, very simple in finding or tracing your family heritage. All you would need is your mother or your father name or whoever. And with the census, it goes back as long as they was accounted, as long as wherever the person was living in the home or wherever was counting the people and the ones that was having children and whoever, all of that is accounted for. So I just wanted to share that. So peace out.